people off the street. So I want to introduce you to them. I want you to see what a pedophile looks like. I want you to see what someone looks like and some of the words that they say whenever they're caught thinking they're going to have sex with children.
What up, YouTube? It's your host, D, back again with Real Vision TV. And we're going to get into a video today that I stumbled upon. It's very disgusting. It's very disturbing. But apparently there was 6 pedos caught part of a pedo sting in Polk County, Florida. And it's just sad that we get people like this preying on little children. Not much to really say about that, except I'm going to get into the video. I do have one question, though, after watching the video. But before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so, make sure you ring that bell, turn your notifications on, and set it to all. So with that said, let's get right to it.
So with that, on September the 19th to the 25th, for 7 days, we did 2 operations at the same time. One was a human trafficking operation that resulted in 219 arrests, and you covered that in the media. The other that was the sexual predator operation that resulted in 6 arrests. These 6 people here. I want you to get a good look at these folks, because these are people that thought they were going to come have sex with children. They came to a strange undercover location thinking that they were going to encounter a 13 or a 14 or a 15-year-old child. They're dangerous. If it weren't for the outstanding work of the men and women of law enforcement, they absolutely would have attacked children had it not been an undercover operation. We were joined by our colleagues, because no one agency can do this by themselves as successfully as we can working together. The Orange County Sheriff's Office, the Lakeland Police Department, the Hillsborough Sheriff's Office, the Tampa Police Department, and the Lake County Sheriff's Office joined us in this operation. And as a result, we took some very, very bad people off the street. So I want to introduce you to them. I want you to see what a pedophile looks like. I want you to see what someone looks like and some of the words that they say whenever they're caught thinking they're going to have sex with children.
Now I'm going to stop that right there just to leave these people's faces on the screen at least for a minute, so people can get a real good chance and opportunity to see and how diverse of people that's on this list. Basically letting you know that anybody can prey on your children, right? And it's really important that you keep an eye on your children, especially in facilities that where you leave them at for camps and stuff like that. There's always somebody like a Douglas Cooley, a Douglas Da Silva, a Ferris Kliski, Jario Munez, Timothy Wellman, and a Trevor Walker. There's always these type of characters that are around your children praying for them to catch them at a vulnerable moment. And, we commend the county of Polk County out there in Florida, along with the other agencies, because this is disgusting. And this is a common thing in the U.S., and it hasn't been spoken of often. But it's a pleasure to be able to be behind this video and narrate it, because these people are the epitome of trash.
The first one is Douglas Cooley. He's 26. He's from Apopka. He's employed by the Discover Aftercare. You see, this is a program that is on the Orange County School District's property. To be specific, the Clay Springs Elementary School, where aftercare is provided to children. He worked in that program.
See, This guy, Douglas Cooley, worked at the program that basically placed them around children. These are where these predators, these are soft targets for these predators. And I got a question, I'm going to save it for the end, that I mentioned earlier, but I'm going to save my question for the end because I think not just these predators should be facing severe punishment, but I also feel another party does too. And I'll tell you guys at the end who I believe should be also facing the same, if not equal, more punishment.
With children. And now he shows up at an undercover operation to have sex with a very young teenage girl. He thought he was going to meet this 15-year-old as a result of a bad stepmom operation. That's right. He was going to pay stepmom to have sex with a 15-year-old. I'd like to underscore that this program that he worked for is a contractor or a vendor, not the school employees, but a contracted service to the Orange County school system. So he thought he was going to meet this 15-year-old little girl and have sex because the bad stepmom arranged it. He was going to pay for it. He said that, I'm interested, but is she the only girl you have? Did you hear what I said?
Yes, Sheriff, I heard what you said. The balls of this guy to ask if that's the only girl that she had. And obviously the stepmom is who the undercovers are playing on the other end. Basically entrapping in a form or engaging these guys into a conversation that goes very bad for them, let's just say. And it's just sad. Let's continue on.
Did you hear what I said? He wanted to know if this was the only girl that they had. And then our suspect, Douglas, asked the stepmom, are you her pimp? The child's 15 years of age. He traveled to this location. He was also charged with human trafficking as well. Oh, he was wearing a DARE t-shirt. For those of you who are not familiar, DARE is a program that's taught to teach children how to be safe.
Did you hear that? He's wearing while committing this crime that he's committing, he's wearing a DARE t-shirt, and DARE goes way back. Way back. And it's supposed to be an awareness channel for protection of children. And this guy's wearing this shirt, and look at the actions that he's up to. You can't make this up. These people are very sick-minded people.
And to resist drugs. He was wearing that t-shirt. He's currently in our jail. He said, my life's over. Kinda. We plan to send you to prison for a very, very long time. What you did was a serious felony. But because of the work of our detectives, and I brag on them because they're simply the very best, that night, it wasn't a real child that he was able to groom and convince that it's all right to come over, or it wasn't a real stepmom that was offering up her stepdaughter for sex. He didn't know that.
Right. See, that's what I was saying earlier. Basically, they have an undercover playing the role of people on the other end to basically lure these guys out to carry out their sick-minded acts. Let's continue on.
But he does now. And then there's Euro Muniz. He's from Kissimmee. He's 40. He was a laborer for Brand Safeway Scaffolding. They fired him.
They should have. And Kissimmee is not too far from Orlando, right? I wouldn't be shocked if this type of perpetrator hangs out at Disney World. Just saying.
They were not amused. He's married. That's right. He thought he was meeting a 13-year-old child, a little girl, for sex.
13 years old.
He said he wanted to teach her how to have sex. but he used much more graphic terms than that. Now, if I told you that, you just bleep it out and wouldn't tell everyone.
This is a sick man. Sick man telling 13-year-olds what he would like to do to them. This is a sick man.
Some of y'all may even cover up some of these faces, but, you know, shame on you if you do. But when asked, well, what would you do if a man was wanting to do this to your daughters? And we asked that question because we discovered during the interview with him, he had 4 daughters between 9 and 16 years of age. What would you do if a grown man, 40 years of age, wanted to come have sex with your daughters like you wanted to have sex with this 13-year-old? He said, well, if they tried this with my daughters, he said, I would hang them.
You see that? He would hang somebody else if they did this to his daughters. But meanwhile, he's out there having a daughter, being married with a family, and he's out there doing this to somebody else's child. Again, very sick-minded individuals.
Well, that's against law. We can't do that. But we can prosecute you and send you to prison for a very long time. But while he would take the ultimate violent act against someone wanting to hurt his daughter, he was doing the same thing to someone else's daughter. By the way, his daughters are being screened as well. He's posted bond.
And that is right. His daughters should be screened as well to make sure that they have not been violated by this creep, weirdo dad.
And I find it interesting that he's posted bond. He's out. He's out until court day. But he traveled, and he's also charged with attempted lewd battery. Now, I want to take this a step further. Keep in mind what he said he would do if they did it to his daughters. So while he is grooming what he thinks is a 13-year-old, he sends photos of his little man.
You big dummy.
You hear that? He's a little man.
You big dummy.
And the little man didn't have any clothes on. It was nasty. It was a nasty little man. But yet, it's okay for him to do that to somebody else's child. Once again, he's locked up. He confessed. He's lost his job, and we intend to do our best to send him to prison.
Send him to prison for a very long time, Sheriff. A very long time.
And then there's Trevor Walker. He is a maintenance guy, maintenance tech at a Publix warehouse over in Orange County, Orlando area. He wanted to have unprotected sex.
So this is close to the Orlando area. So Kissimmee was close by Orlando. Orlando, you people need to watch out there. Watch out for your kids. It's getting real close to home out there in Orange County, Orlando area. Watch out for your kids. There's some predators on the run, and they always on the loose. As you can see, the other guy he posted bail, so they let a known predator right back out on the streets. Go figure.
For 3 hours with a 15-year-old girl. He went for this bad stepmom deal. He was going to pay her $400, stepmom, so he could have sex. Now, our undercovers talked to this guy for 3 days before he showed up. And you might ask why. Some have to build their nerve up. Most enjoy the pursuit and the grooming as much as they do the sexual encounter. That's what we find a lot with pedophiles.
See that? It's a mentality that these sickos have. It's not just the physical with them. It's like they like to tap into the mind of the child. so they want to groom the child. Sick-minded people.
It's the pursuit of their quest as much as it is the sex. He even went so far as to say, well, what would it cost me if I spent all night with a 15-year-old girl? All right, here's his moment to not travel, okay? He's already in trouble for what he said on the computer, but here's his moment. He said, now listen, I don't want to get caught up in any of this Grady Judge Sting business, and I don't want to see Chris Hansen.
Well, he did see Chris Hansen. He sure did.
He got to see both. The Grady Judge Sting and Chris Hansen was there. So he's not only on local television, he's going to be on a program about how he's a pedophile and he's dangerous. And after we caught him and he figured out it was a Grady Judge Sting and Chris Hansen was there to talk to him, he said, well, I made the decision to come here. I'm just stupid. What do you think?
Big dummy.
Stupid is being nice. You're an absolute moron.
You big dummy.
He also added that he wanted to have rough sex with his 15-year-old child. He's in jail. There are no 15-year-old children in jail. And this is just a nasty, dangerous person. That's right.
Disgusting.
Then there's Douglas De Silva of Windermere.
Look at this guy.
Newsflash, I know it's hard for you to believe, but he's illegal.
Uh-oh. He's illegal. You know, I'm going to chime in for that one right there. So, and I hate to use Donald Trump as an example, but I have to, because when Donald Trump called illegals like this guy murderers, he was called a racist for just telling the truth. And this is what happens when you let illegals in where they're not vetted. There's no deep third level background checks being done on them. This is the result. And he just happened to be caught. I'm pretty sure that there's many more out there that are illegal and committing these same crimes.
From Brazil. He's an Uber driver, and he also cleans houses. I didn't think you could be an Uber driver if you were illegal.
Good point, Sheriff. How is he an Uber driver if he's illegal? See, these are the type of policies that are being bypassed underneath these Dems' watch, as far as I can see it. The policymakers, the lawmakers, they need to get a hold of this. Because how is he an Uber driver and he's illegal? And I was just telling people the other day that don't be shocked if they allow illegals to actually vote. And some people told me, oh, you got to be an you have to be a legitimate citizen in order to vote. I wouldn't be shocked if they find loopholes to bypass that as well.
You can't take an Uber directly from Brazil here, so they had to hire him after he got here. He's married. He traveled to have sex with what he thought was a 15-year-old female, and he was going to pay $220 for that experience. Once again, he talked to the stepmom. He wanted to have different kinds of sex. Now, we can't go into the details for obvious reasons, but he said, hey, I'll up it from $220, stepmom, to $250, an extra $30 if I can have unprotected sex with this 15-year-old child. He's also charged with human trafficking.
Dude wanted to have unprotected sex with a child and was willing to pay more to do it. Sicko from Brazil. Sicko from Brazil. Sicko from Brazil. Disgusting. It's disgusting.
He confessed. He's been here 4 years, and he's waiting on his green card. Well, just thinking out loud, I believe even this administration won't give you your green card since you're now on a federal ICE hold. But we'll have to wait and see. He's in jail. We want him to go to prison. And then last but not least, well, no, we have two more actually, but I'll tell you about our veteran. He's an Army veteran. He's currently a student. He was a
veteran. Was it an honorable discharge or was it a non-honorable discharge? But sometimes, you know, these vets, they come home all fucked up anyway. They come home all fucked up anyway. They feel like America let them down sometimes, and they go out there and commit these crimes. Sickos. Real sickos.
Mechanic in the Army, and he's got his VA benefits, and he was learning to be a Harley-Davidson motorcycle mechanic. You know, it's been my experience that Harley riders are real men. They're not pedophiles. They're not sex predators. And they don't want anybody that's a pedophile or a sex predator working on their Harley. But he wanted to have sex with a 14-year-old. And he made the statement. Okay, are you ready for this? He made the statement. I don't know who made him a great historian. If this were 200 years ago, our age difference wouldn't make any difference at all.
See, this is a real sicko. That's right. He would be the sicko. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this guy would be the sicko.
Well, it's 200 years later, and it makes a lot of difference to us. He confessed. He's currently in jail. But here's the thing that amazed me. He just moved to Davenport from Kentucky. I got to welcome him to Polk County when we arrested him. And on the way, while he was traveling to have sex with a child, he called his 5-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy up in Kentucky to wish him good night.
Did you hear that? He's called his own child up to wish them good night and tuck them in while he's out here trying to tuck somebody else's kid in. This is a disgusting predator.
So he's wishing them good night while he's on his way to have sex with a child. Look, folks, these folks all have a hitch in their giddy-up. They're not good people. Now here's our last one. Ferris Cleese. He's married. He has adult children. He's an Uber driver.
Another Uber driver. Another married Uber driver. He gets
Big dummy.
because he's
You big dummy.
because he's
You big dummy.
Don't you notice the theme here? They're Uber drivers, so they get to drive around and sightsee during their routes. Predator behavior, you know. Sneak around. Weirdos. Disguised right in your community.
He's on public assistance, and he wanted to have sex with a 14-year-old female. Now, he told us he was on public assistance. That's how we know. So, did you take some of that government money that we all paid taxes with to have sex with a female, put gas in the car?
So he's using public assistance money to do this crime. To go put gas, like how the sheriff said, put gas in his car to go out and have sex, allegedly, with an underage child. Using taxpayers' dollars to do so. Any way they can get it, they'll try. They're just sick in the head.
Or was that extra money? He's Syrian born, he's naturalized, he is legally in this country. And at the end of the day, he made this prolific statement: "Trust is like a glass. Once broken, it will never be the same again." What's that about? Well, he can trust us that he's locked up in jail and we won't break his glass because he can trust that we're always going to arrest when he does something like this. Now, he has a $26,000 bond, but he's out.
Another guy that was able to get out. You see? They're back out in the streets. Now, I don't know if they're going to go back out there and try to do it again, because before they got caught because they thought they were doing something discreetly, but obviously they were in some type of channel or platform that allowed this to happen. And we're going to get to that on the closure of this video.
So if he didn't use the public assistance money that he said he got that night to get there to have sex with a child, did he use some of that public assistance money to bond out of jail? We don't know. But I find it interesting. He needs to be on public assistance, but he has money to bond out of jail for being a child predator.
Good point.
We will continue these operations. We're going to protect the children, not only of Polk County, of Florida, but around the country and around the world from these kind of deviant actors.
You should. And I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to stop it right there. That's all we pretty much need to see from these weirdos. Just very disgusting. I'm going to just leave them up on the screen, closing out here. But I have one key question. One key question. What platform, I hope you guys are listening, what platform allows 6 weirdos like these weirdos to even engage in conversation like this with minors? And where I'm getting at with this is that the platform where the police and these other authorities and Chris Hansen and whoever else are lobbying around should also be under scrutiny, because apparently there is an outlet for these type of creep weirdos to indulge in their disgusting behavior. I'm going to repeat that. There's a platform out here where these weirdos have some way, somehow found themselves in, whether they were entrapped into those environments or what have you. The platform should also be under scrutiny, because they're allowing these type of weirdos to have a place for their behavior. Whether the cops book them or not, there shouldn't be places like this for weirdos can have discreet conversations with supposed children, whether they're real children or these guys playing children behind the scenes. That shouldn't happen. But whether or not, they may just be using this as, like how the sheriff said earlier, a task force to try to weed out and get these people off the streets. And it may just be an initiative that they're doing, and this is their strategy behind doing it. So with that said, hey, listen, if you enjoyed the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. We appreciate the support. You guys, it would not be us. And again, yeah, like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments in the section below. I would love to hear it. Real Vision would love to hear it. And on that note, and I mean again, on that note, we are out.